What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and some more Hail Caesar for you. So today we are going to take a look at the Britannia expansion here, so Rome's invasion of Britain. So this is another one of the, again, expansion books here for Hail Caesar, and just focusing on a specific setting, and most of the books really just focus on where Rome was at the time. So, we've looked at Germania, but also we've seen Caesar's Rome and so on and so forth. So, but this one, again, focusing on Britannia, so which is nice because it kind of coincides with the way the current Hail Caesar starter box is organized, because you have Romans and Gauls, but really you can reuse a lot of the figures if you want to represent Britannia or British figures as well. So we're going to do a quick flip through, kind of like we do with our bolt action campaign overviews here. So flipping this open, and this is definitely on the thinner side of the expansion books for Hail Caesar, and it might even be the actual thinnest, but we'll get a quick overview of what's in there. And again, there's not much in here, so if you're not playing Rome or and basically the British peoples, this one may not be for you, because again, there's just not that much in here. So it is still interesting reading, and still some interesting gaming, but you really got to be invested in this particular time period, and again, Romans and the different British tribes. So what it does do is pretty good. It's just, again, not much. We're topping out at basically 62 pages, right? But we'll get an overview, why did the Romans invade, etc., the timeline for it. Does feature campaign play, which is pretty cool. And again, details the Roman army that was there, the different British tribes, commanders on both sides, and then we do get some scenarios, but again, it's just a little light overall compared to, I feel like the Germania book was a little bit thicker, I feel, and then certainly Caesar's Rome, so like the Republican Roman thing, also I think was certainly a little bit more, had a little bit more meat on the bone, so to say. But anyway, so we'll get 3 scenarios for the Caractacus War, and then 3 for the Boudica Rebellion as well, and then a little bit of guiding on basically coming up with your own games and things like that. Now, where this one could shine is in conjunction with things like SPQR, I think, for some smaller skirmishes and things like that, where you could then really take the British list from SPQR and then add, you can really like dive into the different British tribes and really just like maybe create some sub lists from that, and then kind of doing the same thing for the Romans that were there as well. So in that sense, it is a nice conjunction between the two. But one thing to mention as well would be taking some of the alternate rules from the Bronze Age expansion, which is a massive book, for smaller games of Hail Caesar, and then also playing that in here. So you got a couple different options that I would suggest to supplement this and make this a little bit more worthwhile. So we'll flip through as normal here, and again, we're going to be fairly brief. Again, this is just an overview of what's in here for you guys. We'll at some point start covering all the different campaign books in detail. So again, we get a little bit of background view from both sides, why the Romans actually ended up invading it. Now, there is some really great miniature footage here, so just again, pictures, and really just helps illustrate what things can look like on the hobby side for you. So there's, in that regard, still really good. Basically, the artwork from the 2-player Hail Caesar starter box here, so over a full 2-page spread. Then playing a map-based campaign game, and that's pretty cool, because you could really take some of the ideas here and then apply it to other eras, other settings, and things like that for Hail Caesar. So definitely worth there. Pretty cool that they include the timeline for that. And then, like I said, it's still good reading and really just interesting, if for nothing else. But just given some of the newer expansions, again, just going back to the Bronze Age, that's definitely covering a whole time period. So, but there's more to it. So, if they ever redid this, I wonder what else they might be able to include in there. So, anyway, covering mechanics, Roman and British turns on the campaigns here, covering what the army actually looked like at this point. So again, really good pictures in this one. But I feel like, again, given how short it is, seems like there almost might be more pictures than normal. So it just feels like that sometimes when flipping through this. But anyway, covering different auxiliaries, cavalry, infantry, and all that. So again, I feel like you could take this and play some of these smaller Hail Caesar games, if not slide over into things like SPQR, where I think you could really get a lot out of this. So they do detail all the different British tribes and what you should ideally field for them. And from there, again, if you really want to get creative, like I said, you could take the British list then in Hail Caesar, or not Hail Caesar, SPQR, and then come up with some other special rules and things like that as well. So I think that could be pretty cool, kind of combining of the systems there. But anyway, so we cover things like all the different tribes here. I'm not going to attempt to butcher the different pronunciations on some of these. But this part was, I think, probably my favorite of the book, just because I didn't know really much about the different British tribes, and so this was like a little bit of a primer on that. And then you can obviously do more reading beyond that. So, but this is pretty cool. Then we get into different commanders, and then again, here's pretty cool because we do get some actual named Roman commanders for this, where like the general Hail Caesar Roman list for this, I think gives you the option for Caesar. We reviewed it back in the past. Definitely check that video out. But again, just for the purpose of this, I like that there's named commanders for that. Same thing on the British side. And interestingly enough, Boudica and Craticus are the two that are named, or the two named heroes for the SPQR book, so that actually kind of lands up pretty nicely there. But again, you can also create your own heroes and things like that if you wanted, and dive into that. But here's where it gets really cool. Good part of the book here: narrative campaigns. So how to field that, and how to progress in something like that, and then how to earn points and ultimately achieve victory, and just have some cool back and forth here. And again, some just really awesome pictures here. There's definitely some good inspiration to be found from those, so they're not just rehashing things from the core box, which is good, of course. So then different army lists here. So again, we have the Roman short list here, followed by the British troop lists. Love that. Then again, just a couple more pictures. As you can see, there's a lot of pages that are literally just pictures. So again, it's kind of in a certain sense acting a little bit as filler because there's just not much there, but still really cool pictures. Then getting into the scenarios themselves. So, and again, I love that they're not just rehashing existing pictures that you can see elsewhere. So this is new stuff here, and then showing some real life locations as well. So I love that that's included too. And again, details on how to field the scenario, terrain, existing actual forces for that. So you have all that. Battle of Cadbury Castle, building up some hills and fortifications and things like that. So again, they do a good job on these scenarios, certainly. So what you could do really, if you did want some new things, new types of missions to play, that would be one reason to get the book, just to have 6 new scenarios. And again, if you're not playing the 2 existing historical armies here, you can certainly swap some things out and come up with a viable enough narrative for that type of battle. So again, lots and lots of pictures here. But again, you're kind of noticing a trend, right? So lots of essentially full page picture pages to, again, sort of pad out the page count. I feel like there's probably 10 plus pages of just pictures or more in this 60-page book, right? Again, they're all really good. It's just, it is something to note given the cost of this thing as well. So I feel like this one at some point deserves a redo with maybe some more content. But again, we do get 6 pretty cool scenarios here. And again, if you are playing one or both of these armies, then definitely this is a great book for you. But for anyone who's not necessarily invested in these 2, again, we're going to label it kind of as it's up to you if you want to buy this. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a must-have for Hail Caesar, but again, you can make the decision on that for yourselves. So again, lots and lots more on these scenarios here. Then last few bits here, sort of devising your own games, coming up with your own thing. That's where I come back to what I was saying earlier. SPQR exists now. This book was obviously made well before that game came out. So I think that would lend itself as well just to some of these smaller skirmishes where you can really sort of come up with unique lists, but also schemes for the British forces, but also some of the Roman forces here, and then kind of go off of the descriptions that they give you earlier in the book on the different tribes and so on and so forth. So I feel like that would be a strong point there. And again, that also is a good impetus to do some extra research and maybe see what else you can find in them. Then some last thoughts here, and again, some suggested reading, so they do point you in that direction. And of course, there is a lot of great terrain and stuff out there now that you can buy to represent sort of Roman villas and stuff like that. And then obviously you can make your own for a lot of the natural terrains and stuff like that for Britain itself. So, and then that basically wraps things up there. So again, not 100% must buy, but a really cool book for that specific period. And again, if you're invested in the two armies, then I would say it's a buy for those. But overall, kind of make this one up to you guys if you want to invest in it. But let us know in the comments, guys, what you think of the Britannia expansion. Have you played it? Have you invested in it? Do you play? Are there the armies involved? What all have you found useful for it? And again, hit us up in the comments there, guys. Like and subscribe as always. Also, please support the channel and take a peek at the link in the description for anything that you pick up at Warlord that will help support the channel if you follow that link and do it from there. So, thanks so much for watching as always, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.